A quiet place is everything you would feel in an environment devoid of sound. It makes the audience self-aware and on edge, amplifying the worth of every single sound in the mix. Directed by John Krasinski, A Quiet Place is an American post-apocalyptic horror film made in 2018. Inspired by films such as Alien and No Country for Old Men, A Quiet Place offers incredible moments of tension, which are created through the use of sound design. The film was nominated for and won many awards, including the Hollywood Sound Award, Best Sound, Editing and Mixing, and more. In this video essay, I will be analyzing a scene from the movie in which Evelyn Abbott, played by Emily Blunt, is trapped in her house with an alien creature, which is blind but extremely sensitive towards sound. The sequence starts with muted footsteps coming down the stairs with simple layers of night ambience, such as crickets. It is interesting to note that no single animal or insect sound can be heard in the film due to the fact that they would immediately be killed if they disturb the silence. If they are in a group, however, the combined sound creates a filter the alien creatures mostly ignore. Simple, yet creative details like this were implemented throughout the film by the two sound supervisors Eric Adal and Ethan Van der Ryn. The music continues to swell until Evelyn steps on a loose nail while going to the basement. The mix is suddenly halted for a brief moment. As if Evelyn's cry in pain was not enough, she drops a picture frame which she was carrying, and it makes an awful shattering sound. The impact of this is also symbolized with the bass piano tone, in sync to the picture frame's destruction. After she tries to suppress her pain, a sharp scream disrupts the quiet atmosphere as we see the creature has indeed hurt Evelyn. The creature sounds created for the film also ran through changes throughout the production. At first, they sounded much more high-pitched, almost like fingernails scratching a chalkboard. Producer Brad Fuller says that they reached the decision that these creatures like the silent world, and they shouldn't make a lot of noise themselves. While I personally do not think that the unreleased sounds are bad, I do think the final version is a bit more foreboding. After this point, the music is reintroduced and begins to build up tension as our character tries to come up with a plan. As Evelyn paces around the room, her footsteps are muted because there's a layer of sand that rests on the floor. A kitchen counter starts ticking quietly in the mix, panned mostly to the left side. Bassy, heavy footsteps can be heard as the creature comes down to the basement. These sounds cause the ticking timer to be crushed in the mix, again pointing towards the fact that the creature must be able to distinguish the desired sound source from the background noise. The creature's footsteps are some of the best footsteps I have personally heard. They sound so organic and menacing, conveys everything we need to know about them. When the creature finally stops, it removes parts of its outer shell to reveal its ear canal. This is one of the sound perspectives found in the film. The sound is mixed in such a way that it puts us in the character's head and lets us hear things from their perspective. Eric Adal and Ethan Van der Ryn have achieved this by drowning out all sounds except for the ticking timer and giving it more presence. The timer is also panned to the left as the creature is listening to it with its left ear. The creatures in the film use echolocation, also called a biosonar, to move and hunt. This opens a world of possibilities for storytelling through sound design. Supervising sound editors Adal and Van der Ryn said they were inspired by animal echolocation, such as that employed by bats. The overall sound mix and levels are also played with experimentally to yield the loud silence A Quiet Place has. In an interview with Todd Wanderwef from Vox, sound supervisor Eric Adal mentions how they layered the mix as follows. For us, it was about really stripping everything out and building up what we needed, which is sometimes kind of the opposite of what happens when you're putting the sound together for a movie. We tried to start with nothing and then just introduce the very specific sounds that we wanted for any moment. As I mentioned before, this approach to sound mixing elevates the value of individual sound clips and gives meaning to them. Since every sound is so distinctly audible, the viewer's participation is increased, as they are able to tell which sounds would alert the creatures and which ones would not. There are three moments in which the film goes either completely silent or has a very quiet sine wave buried in the mix with no other sounds or music present. As I mentioned before, this is done to give the audience the perspective of another character, which in this case is a family's deaf daughter, Regan Abbott, portrayed by Millicent Simmons. Some might consider this creative choice a bit risky, in fear of losing interest from the audience. In the same interview from Vox, sound designer Ethan Van Der Ven comments, "This is something that we've never done in our careers, where we've gone to complete digital zero, and some of the feedback we've been hearing on the movie is that these moments are what people remember." A Quiet Place is a bold, new take in the field of sci-fi horror. It plays with the basic tools of filmmaking to create powerful and tense moments, which are unforgettable. With crisp attention to detail, the love and soul that went into this film becomes apparent, forming a solid foundation when it comes to surpassing the test of time.